I'm with Lionell Thompson, known as Lonnie B, and you can
Yeah.
see he says he's the uncrowned champion. Lonnie B, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Wish I was doing better, but I'm doing good.
Well, I guess we all wish we were doing better. But let
Right.
me let me let me jump in because I met you I guess maybe 10 years ago or so. I was with HBO. I was a producer and I was in Chad Dawson's camp. We were doing something with him. He was a light heavyweight champ at the time. I really don't remember if it was for the Andre Ward fight. I'm not sure, but I remember you were working with him and I met you and you just had this energy. Like you're just an easy guy to root for. Like I
Yeah.
just met you out of the blue and I remember we talked a little bit. I said, I want to follow him and see how his career goes. So what can you tell me about that time? Now, am I right that you were working with Chad Dawson for a while? And how long did you work with him?
Yep. It was for the Andre Ward camp. I was one of his sparring partners, and I was giving him good work. And yeah, that was it was good working with Chad. It was a good experience for me because Chad was the man at the time.
Yeah.
And in my head, like I know on the surface I'm like calm, cool, collected, but inside I think I'm like the baddest man walk the planet. Like when it comes to boxing. So I wanted to test myself, and I went out there, and it's great. I paid for my own way to get there and everything, just to see them, see where I stand at. You know what I'm saying? And I did. I passed with flying colors, and yeah, that was the start of a great, a career. I ain't gonna say a great career, but a career.
Well, that was I remember that camp because Chad was moving down to 168,
Yep.
which a lot of people weren't sure that was the right move, but he was moving down to 168 because I shot with him in Connecticut and then he moved his camp out to Vegas. Um, so you were in there with he was the man at light heavyweight back then. Tell me how those sparring sessions with him were.
Oh, honestly, I thought they would be a lot tougher. But I mean, it was tough, but not as tough as I expected for him to be world champion. I thought it would be more treacherous, but it was more. I don't want to say a walk in the park because I don't want to be disrespectful. But it was competitive. It was competitive.
And you paid your own way there.
Yep, yep. Pay my own way. I said, yo, this the deal because I didn't have a manager or promoter, so I was trying to get on. I was undefeated. I was like 6-0. I said, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I said, yo, Chad. So I was just trying to get wherever the action at, wherever the cameras is at, so people can see me. And I said, Chad, listen, I come up there, you like me, then you pick up the bill, then you pay. He's like, okay, cool, that's the deal. And that's how it went. I came up here, 2 sparring sessions. He liked me, like, yo, I'm keeping you. You a good little fighter. And he kept me, paid for the room, and I stayed up here. That's how I got to Floyd Mayweather's gym.
So I want to jump around a little bit, but
Yeah.
I know you're from Buffalo,
Yep.
but where are you now? Because we were texting each other, and I know you were on the East Coast recently. I guess you were training, but where's home for you right now?
Las Vegas. I love Vegas. I'm never leaving.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
What is it about Vegas that you love? Because most people they like to go out there for a vacation. They want to gamble and go to the casinos.
But just like what you said, you meet so many different new people every day. The scenery is beautiful, the mountains, and just the scene, the energy out here is just dope. You know what I'm saying? Most people always in a good mood. The economy is great out here. It's always bright lights. I like the bright lights. Puts me in a good mood, give me good energy. So that's why I'm never leaving.
And so no more Buffalo for you, huh?
Oh, absolutely not. No more Buffalo.
Do you get to go home at all to Buffalo? You still have family there?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I get to visit. That's my goal was to get my family out here. My mother, well, after I beat Uzcategui, I thought, I was gonna be making some money. That's what I was told, but that was a lie. But I was gonna get my mother a condo on the strip. She can have that forever, like forever. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna give me some property and then a couple more fights and then call it a day.
Former belt holder Jose Uzcategui hopes to serve up some Southern inhospitality as he welcomes Lionell Thompson to the 168-pound division.
But let's go back to that Uzcategui fight. You had some losses at light heavyweight. You know, you fought Kovalev and lost, but you moved down to 168, fighting the former champ Jose Uzcategui, December 28th, which that day is my birthday, by the way, December 28th, 2019. And I think probably every so-called expert had you as an underdog.
Yep.
And you pretty much showed the world, anyone who doubted you, the very end of that first round, I think you showed everyone, you know, who you were at 168. I know you've talked about this fight a lot, but it was a big night for you.
Yeah, it definitely was. Like, I'm glad you touched on that when you said so-called boxing experts. I'm glad you touched on that, because like when I don't really get into what people say and so-called, like you said, so-called experts. I don't really get involved in the naysayers, because they really don't know what they're talking about. Like, they get paid to say a certain thing. They get paid to pump a certain guy. You get what I'm saying? So it's their job to mentally get to your head. That's why if you look at the press, that whole fight, I was going at Uzcategui and the media. I was like, listen, if you know anything about boxing, the only thing you can think I might lose is the weight, because I never made 168, and then going down in weight at 34 years old is a dangerous thing. So that's the only reason why you can give it to him. But as far as competition-wise and skill-wise, it's no way you could say he's better than me. It's just no way in hell you can say who has he beat? He's really a 60-pounder. I give him that. He beat Stop the Real never been stopped. I give him that. But I've been in there with way bigger punches. I've been in there with guys that can literally physically change you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah.
It's like, if you got to tell yourself, I make the weight right, it's a walk in the park for me, which it was.
I think most people, and again, you know, everyone's an expert. They think they're an expert, but they probably looked at your record and saw the first thing people say is they see 5 losses, and they say,
Right.
"Oh, well, he's a, you know, he's a stepping stone. Uzcategui, he lost his belt. He's going to knock this guy out and get another shot at Caleb Plant." But I mean, you don't have a lot of knockouts. Doesn't mean you don't have power.
Yeah.
But the end of that first round, tell me about that in your eyes, because it was like, bow, like.
Yeah. And you know, it's crazy. I only had 2 weeks to get ready for that fight. I got it like on a short, because nobody else would take it. So I said, absolutely, I take it and challenge myself. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what makes you valuable in life, when you face new challenges and find a way to solve them. You know, but that's I knew it would be a relatively easy fight, because first of all he's too little. I'm used to fighting guys 6'4", 6'5", rehydrating to 210. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to fighting guys like that. So I knew physically it was gonna be an easy fight for me. So I can box him, and then when I want to rest, I can just sit in the pocket, because he ain't strong enough. He's too light, and I'm just too big. So when I was throwing the jab, I seen he kept slipping the same way. Like, Uzcategui really, he blocks with his hands. He blocks with his hands, and he tries to tuck his chin behind all this. So, you know, that's why I was throwing the jab. If you watch, I was throwing it different. Sometimes I would throw it fast. Sometimes I would throw it hard. Sometimes I would just throw it. And I noticed he kept doing this. I said, so I can go and loop the right hand right down the middle, and it landed perfect.
Oh, first right hand. Thompson in that corner. 3, 4. How do you feel? 5. You want to keep going? 6. Give me a glove. Box.
Well, I said, welcome to Atlanta, where the players play, and Lionell Thompson came to play, landing that right hand, dropping Uzcategui in late round dramatics.
I was about to say, why is he not moving the right hand that much? And sure enough, there it was.
Atlanta, and if you look at it, right, I don't got a lot of knockouts, but if you look, I got a 40% knockout ratio in the weight class I'm too small for, knocking out small heavyweights. Really.
Yeah.
Almost a 50% knockout ratio, fighting guys that walk around 220, hurting them with one punch.
Right.
So Imagine me hitting the guy 30 pounds lighter.
And then came with the right hand. You'll see the jab is a rangefinder, more than a rangefinder. It landed.
Beautiful combo.
And the straight right hand came behind it. So the early woes of Uzcategui in his fights continue.
All three in favor of the winner, Lionell "Lonnie B." Thompson.
Highly touted in the gym and now highly touted in his 168-pound debut, Lionell Thompson defeats Jose Uzcategui, recording the upset, Al, to kick off tonight's proceedings in the ATL.
3 times before, he has lost by split decision. Several of those very, very disputable. Tonight, this man is a risk taker coming down to 168 pounds. At age 34, the risk paid off.
Tell me, was that the biggest one of your career?
Absolutely. Like, I have fought prospects, guys that was supposed to be going far. Like, and this is why I say I deserve to make money and why I'm one of the best boxers in the game, hands down. Because these other guys, look at guys like Caleb, David, and those guys, those are amazing fighters. But they won 20-something fights they were supposed to win. I won 20-something fights I was supposed to lose. And I'm fighting. I got all kind of guys on my record. Punchers, boxers, journeymen, tough journeymen. I beat every kind of fighter. And I'm still at the top. And I'm still going. Like, I still got so much more left. You know what I'm saying? And then I beat one of the scariest guys in the division, my first fight at that weight. We go back to the Chad Dawson thing. Chad Dawson, how old was he at the time when he fought Andre Ward, you know?
I think he was early 30s, I believe.
Early 30s. Tried to move down to 168, which was a struggle, and he got stopped.
Right.
I'm 34, moved on in weight. Granted, Uzcategui wasn't the champ, but he had just lost his belt.
Mm-hmm.
Barely. He had, mind you, barely just lost his belt. Caleb got out that fight by the skin of his teeth. Barely. Good fight with Caleb. It was back and forth. With my fight at 34 years old, moved down in weight at 34. The first time at that weight, I whitewashed him. It's not even close. I was in control from round 1 to 10.
I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned at 34 you moved down to 168. What took so long for you to decide to move down to 168?
It was just because I didn't think I can do it. Like it really was the finances, like getting everything right. It cost a lot for me to make 168, but thank God I had the money in my account from working, saving up, and I was like, and then they gave me the opportunity. Like it was kind of like I was working my way down there. But when I got the call, like, you want to fight at 68, I'm like, man, I feel like this was the opportunity of my life. Like, yo, this right here is going to change your life. You got to do it. Because if you don't do this, all them years of suffering and sacrificing and waiting and all was a waste. This is the opportunity right here. Forget the money. It's about the opportunity. So I took all the money I had, hired a nutritionist, and we made the weight. You know what I'm saying? But
for Uzcategui, right?
Uzcategui, yeah.
Okay.
So it was the money. It was the money. Like, you know, doing boxing, you got with anything in life, you got to have some support. If you look at most people that's successful, David Benavidez, he has a team. Caleb Plant has a team. Floyd Mayweather has a team. Manny Pacquiao has a team. If you look at all the guys that's successful at the top, Devin Haney got a team. Steven Shakur, they got people that handle certain things. So all they got to do is focus on. They come together as a team to focus on boxing. It's just that I never found nobody that wanted to steal, nobody that would invest in me. And investment, I'm like, all I need is a nutritionist. I don't need you to pay my bills. I don't need you to just pay for my nutritionist, and line them up. I couldn't even find nobody that to do that for me. So I said, you know what? I got to do it. I got to do it on my own. And that's like, I'm glad you brought up the Muhammad Ali thing. Muhammad Ali stood for something, so they put him on ice.
Right.
It's the same thing with me. I stood for something, so they put me on ice. They're mad at me because I said, no, y'all going to treat me right. That's what all this is about.
Let me fill in some blanks, though, because the fight we're talking about happened almost 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now, I would think most people that are watching this, if they don't know, boxing isn't like other sports. You don't have a guaranteed contract. You don't get paid unless you fight, not sign for a fight. You have to actually fight. You get paid after the fight. So
Right.
So Lonnie, it's been 3 years since you fought. And how old are you? 36 or 37?
37.
You're 37. So that's 3 of your prime years that are just gone. And I mean, how did it get to that?
Because I asked to be treated like a human being. Because I asked to be treated fair. It got like this because I asked them to do something for me that they do for everybody else that's winning. Like they do for David, like they do for Caleb, like they do for the Durrell brothers. I just said, yo, I beat like they did for Uzcategui. I said, look, I beat the man, so now I get to get treated like a human being now. I understand when you're the opponent, they're going to do stuff. I understand all that stuff. But now I changed it around with these, George, with these. I changed my situation around with this. I didn't come to the table and say, give me a whole bunch of money. I said, you know, I'm willing to earn it. I'm willing to earn it under y'all circumstances. And no matter how ridiculous the circumstances was, I still did it. And I said, enough is enough. Y'all not about to, these are the prime of my years. I have to make money in these years. These are the prime of my, and I earned it. I'm not asking y'all to give me, I'm not asking y'all to do me any favors. I'm asking y'all to give me what I earned. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for them to try to make my career and blackball me and do all that and go around lying on me, all because I asked to be treated like a human being, that should be against the law and all in every way, shape, or form. That's like you have a job, George, and your boss tell you, if you make 10 million sales, I'll give you $1 million bonus and a raise. And then you hit a 12 million, you do $12 million in sales, and he say, oh well, and then you try to quit and go work for another company that's going to treat you right, and then they go say, no, no, he's a thief and he's an alcoholic. He's a thief and an alcoholic, and you can't trust him. And
no, go ahead.
You feel where I'm coming.
Yeah.
You feel my pain. You understand where I'm coming from?
I do. In those years, I mean, you don't, as an athlete, you don't get them back.
Right.
And you're not getting paid. Now, I know, again, I watched that whole interview because that's the most recent interview I saw. And they asked fair questions, you know, shouldn't you have gotten a fight on your own and, you know, this and that. But the fact is now that it's 3 years later, isn't it? Don't you have to give in it in some respects, maybe with the money, because now these fighters can say, we're not giving you that money. You haven't fought in 3 years. We're not going to give you the money you want. So isn't it even harder now for you to just get in the ring and get what you want?
Right. And you know, it's crazy. I've been trying to do that, but I try to fight on every club shows. Like I tried to fight every 68. I tried to fight so many guys. Like name it. I tried to fight Demetrius Andrade because I heard he went 68 trying to get a fight. I said, I'll take it. No matter what the money is. They told me, well, they told somebody else who called me, like, no, you're too tough of a fight. I tried to fight the kid, Steve Nelson, who's about to fight on Prime. He said, nah, took another fight. Tried to fight Jesse Hart. His promoter said, nah, we don't want to fight like that. Like, so I'm trying to fight. Like, promoters tell me, look, I can't afford you. Like, promoters like, yo, guys want too much money to fight you. I can't afford you. So I've tried to do that for 3 years. I've tried. I'm like, yo,
I mean, not even a name, like,
yeah, anybody, like
just anyone.
Any club show promoters like, yo, I can't afford you. I can't afford you. I try to get guys that, nah, I ain't fighting them. Or nah, they want too much money and I ain't got that to pay. And I even tell them, I won't even take no money. You could just pay them. Like, I still can't afford you. I still can't afford the money they want.
I don't remember anything like this that I've ever seen. I mean, a guy has the biggest one of his career, and here we are 3 years later, and you haven't fought since then. I mean, if you go on BoxRec, they list you as inactive.
I see.
So,
even Top Rank tried to get me a fight. Top Rank, I was like, yo, and they're like, yo, this is crazy. Like, guys is like, no, I'm not fighting him. They're like, but he ain't fought in 3 years. They're like, so what? I'm not fighting him. I ain't fighting him. Because anybody been around the sport know I stay ready. They know like I stay ready. Like between working a job and all that stuff, I still managed to stay ready. Even like I just came from camp with Zerto Ramirez, who fought Bivol. I just came back from camp with Beater Beef. So I'm always in camps. God always make a way for me. So I'm always in camps, making money, staying sharp with God, with better guys better than I'm gonna be fighting. So that stuff get around like that stuff get around. Like over the summer, I dropped 2 cruiserweights. And that got out. I was supposed to fight the kid David Morrell. They asked me, I said, yeah, I would love to fight him. I'm not ducking no smoke. I would love that fight.
Yeah.
But then they heard about that. Like, nah, he dropped such and such like 2 weeks ago. And then they called me back and was like, yo, they're gonna go another route. So it's not like I'm trying. It's like what they want me to do is go back up to 175, or where that's really what they want. Nah, like go back up to 175, and I'm not doing that. Them guys is too big, too dangerous, and I'm just not doing that. Like I said, I'll take anybody at 168. Anybody, a bum, a journeyman, a tough guy, a champion, anybody at 168.
Well, tell me about that, because there's a lot about your career that shows the seedy side of boxing, and what I think you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
The management, the whole process of getting fights and who gets fights. You said you got that fight and you had 2.5 weeks to train. How can that be?
Because that's what happens when you with a promotional company that signs you for an opponent. Like Mayweather Promotions signed me as an opponent for Al Heyman guys, which and mind you, George, which I'm cool with that. Look, I don't mind being an opponent because I know that these guys know nothing about boxing. They know nothing about the guys that they saying is monsters. I'm like, I would kill this guy. Uzcategui, they said he was a monster. They said he was the boogeyman of the division. I went out there and I crushed him, like playing with him, like literally playing with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like boxing so political. They pick who they want to be champion.
Mm-hmm.
They pick who they want to be champ. And I think it just sucks because it's like, how can you stop somebody from making a living because you don't know nothing about the business that you invested in?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like it's a demonic sport, but Mayweather Promotions signed me as an opponent, which I was perfectly fine with because I knew the guys they was matching me with can't beat me, but then the part that's like, that angers me is that I'm a kid that come from nothing. And I've worked, I've suffered, I've sacrificed, I've persevered. I've done everything that the boxing powers say do. Stay ready. Take opportunities. Don't complain about the money. I've done all that. Now, when I beat one of the stars, I deserve to be paid like a prize fighter. I think so. I'm not saying I should got $1 million in my next fight, but I say about 400, 500, those kind of paydays is. I feel like that's where I range at now until I But then they offered me a fight with David Benavidez for $100,000 when he's the WBC champ. Like, come on, that's just like a spit in my face. That's like saying my life don't matter. Like what I like now, if David would have beat Uzcategui, this would have been the greatest thing we ever seen.
I'm glad you brought that stuff up. I just watched an interview you did on the Boxing Voice a couple of months ago. And I thought it was a good interview because, those guys ask real questions. A lot of times people do interviews and they kind of just go along with whatever the person they're talking to is saying. I want to play you a 3-minute clip because you mentioned that you were offered $100,000. This is 3 minutes. This is when Jose Sr. came on.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to play this and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
So this is you and Jose Benavidez Sr.
Studio, Lonnie B. He said he was offered to fight, which is Lionell Thompson, obviously. He said he was offered to fight with your son, David Benavidez, 2 times. What's your side of the story?
Well, I don't know what Lonnie B told you, but we did offer a fight when he was with Hector. Did he tell you the amount we offer him?
$250,000 for the second time, $100,000 first time.
No, maybe they didn't tell him. We offer him $500,000, bro.
Yo, and you know what's crazy? Jose Sr., I appreciate you for coming on here and talking, but that's not the number they gave. This is why I like talking to the source, like because I don't want to be disrespectful and I don't want to say things.
Talking to the mic.
Yeah, I don't want it to be disrespectful and I don't.
You right.
And I don't want to say things that's not true. So I'm glad you came on, but those weren't the numbers that I got offered. You know what I'm saying? But I was more than willing to take the fight. I just was like, yo, can they come up on the money? But I'm glad I'm on here with you, and now you telling me the real number, and I appreciate you for that, man,
But
for
you
real.
said- you said
but we still can.
You said you took the 250 and that you never got a call back.
Yeah, the second time I got offered it. I said the money, whatever, and I never got a call back saying I was like, I'll take it. They're like, we gonna
this is what happened. Okay, we were negotiating the first time. I think it was Hector.
Yeah.
The first time was 250.
Damn, so they was only offering you 1 out of 250.
Yep, that's correct. Yo, Hector, I appreciate you, man.
Who the fuck is Hector?
I don't know what happened either because we were negotiating with Hector. Remember Hector, right?
Yeah, I remember Hector. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened. I think we went up to 300, I think, and something happened. Don't know what happened either. So the next time, we started at 300, I think, and we end up at $500,000. Don't know what happened either.
Wow. Senior, man, I got respect for you. I got respect for your son. But I'm telling you, like, I would love to mix it up with your son, in the near future if we can do it. If me and you can exchange numbers, you could talk to me directly, be in my team, my new team. It'll be greatly appreciated, man, if I get an opportunity at your son, man.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we gave you the opportunity 2 times. Don't know what happened.
Right. It's crazy, Senior. It's crazy you say that because I asked for $500,000. I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what and they told you know what they told me? That's absurd. That's too much money. That's what I was told. That's
I was like, what the fuck? He will never get this kind of money.
Right.
Now,
And my thing is this. That's what I was asking for. I'm like, that's life-changing money. You know what I'm saying? And with all due respect, I believe I would have came out, the winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm supposed to think that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, it's up from here for me. So yeah. So if you got a number I can reach you at, you can talk. You can talk personally. I appreciate it, man. Yo, thank you for coming on here. I really appreciate that, though, for real, man.
So, let me start. Let me start here with this. This was a couple of months ago. So Jose Sr. made it pretty much known that we will fight you. What's happened since then with Benavidez and a potential fight with him?
I'm glad you asked that because I had called him after, as soon as I got out the interview and said, "Yo, what we gonna do?" The conversation was different. It was like, "Oh well, I really don't. I got to talk to other people, and it might not make sense, and blah blah blah. And we don't know. We got a plan for David, but so I don't know." And it just pissed me off because I'm like, yo, then why you say all that on the thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, get my hopes up like that for me.
Right. Well, I did watch the whole interview, and I know the guy Hector, he was on the show as well. And I don't know how much, we don't have to get into that too deeply, but it's
no, we can.
To find out that your management offered you one number, but the other number was so much higher. How do you feel when you hear that?
Honestly, like I grew up in the ghetto, right? So say if you go into somebody's, like George, if I come into your house right now and take something of yours that don't belong to me, something that you worked for, even if it's your TV or your clothes,
right?
Something that you worked for, and I come into your house and take it, and you call the police on me, I'm gonna get charged with armed robbery, trespassing, and everything else up under the sun. The fact that you can do that in boxing and they say it's business, it's absurd to me because you're taking something. First of all, you stopping me from feeding my family, and you taking something that I worked my whole life for, and you taking something that I actually deserved, that I earned. You're taking something that I earned and trying to justify it. And the part that hurts is that there's nothing that you can do because they got power because they know people.
Right.
But Floyd is the same one who gets on TV and bashes Bob Arum about not paying him enough money and saying slave wages, they're paying them slave wages, and that he believed the fighter should get the lion's share of the money. He's the same one who gets on TV and says these things, but then go offer me $100,000 to fight for the WBC world title when it's $500 on the table. And then for Uzcategui, I got 30,000 when I know for a fact it was at least 200. And this time I know for a fact. I can't say how, but I know for a fact it was 200,000. But this is the guy who say he made boxing better for fighters.
So it was Floyd's people that were saying what the numbers were, and the numbers really weren't.
Yeah, the first time, because the first time I was with Mayweather Promotions. The second time I tried to sign, me and Hector, I never signed a deal with him. I just was like, yo, if you can help me and you give me something that makes sense, then I'll work with you. So he came the second time with the it was 250,000. And I was like, all right, well, cool, let me get a warm-up fight first and then we can go. They're like, oh no, it's now or never. You gotta take it now. I'm like, no. Because I feel like boxing is a dangerous sport, right? I can die in there. I can literally die in there. So it's okay for David to take a year off, come back and fight Jalen Love. But Lonnie B got to come back. Every time if you look at my record, George, every time I come back, I'm in a tough fight every time.
Yeah.
I'm in a tough fight every time. So if you agree, my bank account, it's like if you got a job, right? And you got the hardest part of the job. You gonna expect to get paid the most for your time, your energy. Like I should get paid the most. I got the hardest job. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I said, I'm not asking them to give me $1 million, $10 million. I'm not saying, but I'm saying it's just be fair. If it's $500,000 on the table, give me all my money, man. Because think about this, right? How many fighters we seen that made more hundreds of millions go broke?
Mm-hmm. It's the nature. Broke. It's the story of the sport. Yeah.
So $500,000 is really nothing. It's really nothing. But to pay me, put me in a super tough fight, and then pay me super less, like that's just demonic on every level, and it's robbery, and it should be against the law.
You're 100% right. Some people, they try to play devil's advocate and say, well, he's priced himself out of all the fights. It's his own fault. He hasn't gotten a fight. But I just heard what you said, what Jose Benavides Sr. said. I just heard all of that from his mouth and what happened in the aftermath. I guess my question to you is, how are you as upbeat as you are or seem to be, and you haven't had a fight in 3 years? How do you maintain like just any kind of positivity without just, being crazy in the world? Yeah.
It's honestly my faith in God. My life has been hard since birth, so it's like I'm used to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm used to it. Like I've been around people like this my whole life, so it's like you like, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I just try to stay. The way I look at it with this, right? It's like always stay positive, because any given day you can wake up and your life can change like that. It's like how people say, like how tomorrow not promised. Like, yo, enjoy today because tomorrow you might not be here, and that's true. But vice versa, if you reverse it, stay positive because tomorrow might be the day that you get what you want. You know what I'm saying? So I always just keep the vision in my head of me winning the world title. I love boxing. I love it. I still train every day. Like I train in the day and work at night. And I believe that's like a big stress reliever. Like my thing is this: I know I'm a champion. I know it. I proved it. I know I'm a champion. I know it. If you look at my record, I really only been convincingly beat one time. Really, one time.
Right.
And mind you, in the weight class, I'm too small for it. I moved down in weight at 34 years old and beat one of the monsters there easy. So I really believe that when it's all said and done, I really believe in my heart when it's all said and done, it's going to be how you say after the storm, here come the rainbow.
Oh yeah, I know the saying. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I'm just in the storm right now, but I believe when it's all said and done, I'm gonna be standing over the rainbow. I really believe that, and I believe this is gonna be an inspirational story for the world, just for the world. You know what I'm saying? I always say when I can't wait till my movie come out to Hollywood do a movie on me. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, it really is. It's one of the most unique stories that I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
You know, I really can't think of a story like this. I mean, look, you have to go back to Muhammad Ali missed 3 years of his career. That was under completely different circumstances. They wouldn't let him fight. They took his passport. He couldn't fight. He couldn't leave the country. That hasn't happened to you, but you haven't fought. So it's been 3 years. Now I have to ask this too. Do you hold yourself accountable for any of this?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I've done everything I was asked to do. If I'd have turned down fights, even if I would have lost, I'd be like, look, you lost. That's how the business works. Listen, you turning down fights. That's how the business works. But I've done everything I was asked to do. Fight for no money, fight for short money, short notice. I've done everything I was asked to do. So now, since I've done everything I was asked to do, now I'm wrong because I'm asking y'all to do what y'all said y'all would do. Listen, George, all I did was ask them to do what they said they would do.
I get it.
And I did. When they asked me, see, when the ball was in their court, they tried to make me walk on water. And I said, okay, cool. And I found the way to walk on water. But now, when I'm like, okay, y'all said if I walk on water, y'all would do this. Now it was, he too difficult to work with. He too difficult to work with. He this, he that, he this, he that. And I don't have a lot of power. I don't have no power behind me, so they can just lie and make up stuff that don't make sense. And the part that pisses me off that people will believe what they say, even though it don't make sense. Like you just said, you heard David Benavidez's father say, we would love to fight you.
Right.
But you just said, well, how come the fight ain't happened?
Well, and the reason I would have asked you that anyway, but we were texting each other over the past couple of weeks, and I told you I just watched that interview, and you said, you know, when we got on the phone, he told a different story, and you just told the story that he said, and it's, you know, it's the side of boxing that a lot of people they probably turn their head, they don't want to believe it exists, but boxing doesn't love anyone. Boxing least of all loves the fighters. So, and your story is like a testament to that. Boxing doesn't. It's a rough business, man. In and out of the ring. So it's December 2022. There's still nothing on the horizon for you. No potential fight. Nothing signed. You're still in the struggle, looking for something.
Oh no, we definitely. I'm definitely talking to a few people, and I really believe that 2000 and next year that I'm definitely going to be in a fight, and I believe after that I'm going to be in a big fight because it gets to a point where like the doors is closing,
right,
on certain guys, the walls are starting to crumble on certain guys.
You know, everybody gets older. You know, we don't like to, but everyone gets older, and especially again with a fighter, your prime years are your prime years,
right? And you know it's crazy because I'm 37 years old, and these guys are scared to fight me.
Which, yeah, but
like I'm 37 and they talk about something, you're too dangerous.
But now again, like I said, they have that built-in excuse. They can say, well, what do I get out of this? He hasn't fought in 3 years. Why should I fight him? But I would think they should fight you now because maybe now you're vulnerable in their minds. I don't get the mindset where if I'm a fighter and I'm coming up at 168, I'm trying to make a name for myself. I'm going to say, all right, you know what? I can beat Lonnie B. I can beat Lionell Thompson. Like, sign him up. But I guess the people, you know, it's a business. So the people around them, they really who know who you are. It just doesn't happen.
And I'm a gym rat, so they hear the stories about me destroying fighters. I ain't gonna say no names, but I'm gonna tell you like this: couple 68s at the top right now. I put in the dirt. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Like, I'm like, these 68s cannot. Out of shape. I done destroyed some of the top 68s out of shape. Like, not even going, like, oops, my bad. I didn't even mean to do that. I swear I didn't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because it's like, man, if you look at most of these 68's record, right? Just when my one fight with Uzcategui, it knocks out their whole record. So for a guy to say, what do I gain by beating him? Listen, you heard what David Fowler said. If we beat you, then that put us in a whole nother class. Because even when me beat Uzcategui, knocks out David Benavidez's whole record. Knocks out his whole record. Who has he fought Drew compared to Uzcategui? Who?
You make all valid points. I want to talk to you about an article that I read in The Athletic, and this is kind of getting off subject a little bit, but is it true that you've seen the movie The Equalizer like over 2,000 times? There was a whole article, and I mean, it said you lost relationships because of watching The Equalizer.
That's a fact. Yo, it's funny because I just watched it last night.
You did. So the article was true.
It's true.
What is it with The Equalizer? I mean, I get it. I've seen The Equalizer, so I get it. But I mean, this was in 2020. I read this. This article's from 2020.
Yeah,
and it said you've seen it almost 2,000 times, and that's 2.5 years ago.
Yep, I probably watched it way more than that now. Like why I like it is because it's like my whole life, right? The wicked has always ruled over me. You know what I'm saying? Even before boxing, like the wicked has always ruled over me. And what I like about it is that here comes this guy, just this regular. He looks like he's regular on the outside,
right?
But he's the most dangerous person that you stand in front of, and you don't even know it.
16 seconds.
And I like how in that movie how the wicked get what they deserve by the good guy. How the good guy like, okay, I know you think you untouchable. I know you think money and power and all that means something, but I'm about to prove you wrong today. If you don't get it right today, this can be your last time breathing. And I'm not asking you to get it right. I'm telling you to get it right. Like, and that's why I love it. And that's like my alter ego. Like when I fight A sides. Like they may have all the money behind them, all the politics, all the media, all that stuff is fine. But when we get in that ring, I'm telling you, it's about to happen to you. Like I don't care about none of that. When we get in that ring, you in the ring with the most dangerous guy that you ever gonna fight. Period. Uzcategui. And when he was talking, I'm like, this guy has no idea. He's like, I'm gonna knock him out. I'm like, this guy is a lost soul. He has no idea what's about to happen. He literally has no idea what's about to happen.
So did you lose a girlfriend because of
yeah. She's like, you watch Equalizer every single night. I'm like, oh well. like I don't think that was the reason we broke up, but I think
right. I mean, the fact that they wrote, I mean, the article was about, and if anyone, it's on there, you can find it online on theathletic.com, but it was about more than just that. But that was the headline I see why, because it's like an analogy. It's sort of like mirrors your career and how you've seen your career in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and just my life, like I like how like because we live in a generation now, right, where you can do something bad or dishonorable, and it makes money, and people say, well, it's bit, and they nowadays when you a piece of shit, they say it's just business. They try to hide behind business. But no, that's not business. That's how you are. And we live in a generation where as long as it make money, oh, I don't care. It can be something that goes against your morals, your principles.
Right.
But as long as it make money, though, the world will support it. That's the generation we live in now. Like, it's crazy to me that the people, the media know my story. Nobody gets behind me. Nobody say, that's wrong. You want to know why? Oh, because Floyd Mayweather did it. It's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. I was taught to treat the janitor just like you treat the CEO. It's not okay. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I love about that movie is that he like, no, this is right. This is wrong. And it's good. I'm going to make it right. Like you heard what he said when he said, when he had beat up 2 cops in the back of the store. And he said, you will return all the money that you stole from them people.
Mm-hmm.
You will tell them it will never happen again. You do this, and this video will never be seen. But if you don't, It's gonna be on every news outlet in the area. He said, "Now I'm offering you the chance to do the right thing. Take it." Like I'm giving you the chance to do the right thing, man. Just do the right thing.
Yeah. Well, boxing is known for not doing the right thing. I mean, you know that. You can go through, from the start of the history of the sport is all about fighters getting ripped off and fighters being treated bad. And a lot of fans, I think, complain about fighters wanting money. But how can you blame a fighter for trying to maximize
his earning
the amount of money he gets?
But George, I'm gonna ask you a question, George. If you can, name me a fighter that's been penalized for winning.
I can't. I told you, Lonnie. This is why I've ever since I met you, and we haven't stayed in touch all those 10 years. But I followed your career. And I saw when you lost to Kovalev, and I remember when you beat Uzcategui. I think I reached out to you on Instagram or something. Said, "Man, great win."
Yeah,
and it's like in the last couple of months, I kind of blinked and said, "Whatever happened to Lionell Thompson?" And it was like the movie. If I was doing a movie right now, it'd be like, "Whatever happened to Lonnie B?" Because I went back on BoxRec. I said, "Did I miss something? Did he have a fight that he lost, or did he announce his retirement?" And I went on BoxRec, and it just said you were inactive. That's when I reached out to you, because you had the big win, and then suddenly it was like you disappeared.
Right. Even people on Twitter be saying that. Like I'm starting to get people like, yo, Lonnie B. Like people are going on when David about to fight, going to space like fight Lonnie B. Like we supposed to fight Uzcategui. They was lighting them up like fight Lonnie B. How you going? Oh, you scared of Lonnie B? How you gonna fight the dude Lonnie B beat? Fight? Why you ain't fighting Lonnie B? Like, and I'm like, oh, people are really starting to see what's going on.
Well,
and don't get me wrong, I don't think David's scared of me. I just think he knows it's a real tough fight. Me and him been in the ring together before. Like he know that I'm coming with that smoke. Like he know I'm not gonna be scared. He know I'm coming to rip his head off.
Well, it seems like it's gonna be tough. I mean, especially after being out for 3 years. I can't see any of the top guys saying, "Yeah, we'll fight you," because they're all saying, "How's it gonna look for me to get beat by this guy that hasn't fought in 3 years?" So, I mean, I'm not
crazy, George. That's really, these guys know that no matter. Listen, my thing is this, right? How they say you preserve food? Like if you eat food and how do you preserve it? You wrap it up and put it in the freezer.
Yeah, deep. Well, you've been in the deep freezer,
right? So it's like this, right? The way I look at it is like it don't matter how many years I've been off. Because you gotta look at it, right? A lot of these guys got a lot of wear and tear, fighting back to back, wear and tear on your body. Training camp, wear and tear on your body. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been chilling. I've been going to camps, but I've been chilling for the most part. Like, I won't be punch drunk when my career is over. So, like, I look at the positive. Like, that's the blessing about having layoffs is that, well, look, that's 3 years you ain't been getting hit. So when you do start fighting again, I'm still young. I'm still fresh. I go to the doctor, get checked. The doctor didn't believe I was 37 years old. They're like, what? I'm like, I'm 30. I'm 37. Like, even when I train with the young guys, I'm not gonna say no names, but they can't even keep up with me. They get like, we be sparring. I ain't gonna say no names, but champions looking at the clock like.
You know what? I know you're not going to say names, but I can say one name that you've been very vocal about because you have a relationship with him.
Yeah.
The man who I think is the best 175 pound fighter on the planet, Artur Beterbiev.
There's an uppercut. Beterbiev's on the attack. Joe Smith is crumbling again into the ropes. He is in serious trouble here. Another right hand. Uppercut. Big uppercut. He is stumbling, and this is over. Artur Beterbiev has done it in destructive fashion.
I know you have. I've read up about you. I've seen what you've said. You've sparred with him. You work with him many times.
Over probably like 800-900 rounds.
So how did that whole relationship come around? Because I will say this. I just worked on a show a couple of months ago for Top Rank when he fought Joe Smith.
Yeah.
So I was actually in Joe Smith's camp, someone else in Arthur's camp. So I put the show together, and I saw Arthur in his camp, but with his family. Now going into that fight, it's funny because when you're with a fighter like I was with Joe Smith, I was rooting for Joe Smith, and I said, you know what, he's got power if he can land that shot. But Archer better be. He's a whole different beast in the ring.
Yeah. I told people that wasn't going past 4 or 5. They're like, you tripping. I'm like, listen to me. It's not going past 4 or 5. It's not. I'm like, Joe Smith's going to get knocked out fast. He can punch, though. And I'm okay. And people call me like, yo, you was right. I'm like, yo, I've been in there with him. Listen, one thing about me, right? I know a killer when I see one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest. I really don't see no killers out here except Arthur. Like, they be saying,
how did you, before you tell, like, how did you get together with him? And how long ago? And how did you start this relationship with him?
Because I always say killers respect killers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, his trainer, Mike Ramsey, me and him real close. And when he first came out here, I heard about him. And I had just lost to Kovalev, but I was crushing everything. I had just beat the Olympian, the other kid, undefeated kid. I was number 8 light heavyweight in the world. So when he asked me, can I spar him? I said, yeah, absolutely. My father / trainer, like, he said he's seen him fight before me. And I said, I'm going to spar with that Russian kid. This guy here. He said, who? I said, the Russian kid. He said, don't do it. Now, if you know my trainer, he never. He had me sparring with Kyle Frock when I had one professional fight, and Kyle Frock was world champion.
Wow.
Troy Ross. He had me sparring with killers when I was a puppy. So when he said that, I know, and I'm more experienced now, and I'm better now, and you saying no? I'm like, I'm not saying you're not good. I'm just saying leave him alone. I'm like, what you mean leave him alone? I'm going. He said, okay. And when I got up there, I asked this trainer, Mark, I said,
how long ago was this when you first?
Almost like 12 years ago, like 12.
Wow. Okay.
Like
okay.
12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is when he first got to Canada. And I said, like, what you want me to do? He said, Mark said,
survive.
Pretty much. He said, just do your best. And Mark
man.
has the 10 years I knew Mark, he always told me, don't, because, it's a kid, don't take it easy. You know what I mean? When he said just do your best, I'm like, oh, I'm really kicking his ass now. Because I got 2 people that I respect highly telling me, yo. I'm like, I'm kidding. No, I'm kicking his ass. As soon as the bell rung, I'm like, yeah. Because everybody, he looked scary, but I'm like, man, I've been in there I ain't worried about you. And yo, George, when he hit me, the first punch he landed, oh my God, I can still feel it to this day. Like, it felt like I was slowly descending into heaven.
Oh man.
Like, I've never been hit that hard in my entire existence. The 37 years I've been living, I've never been hit that hard. I'm talking about, it was like, boom! Like, and I just was like, huh? Like, I forgot, like, my name for a second, like.
And for people that don't know, you're sparring with big gloves.
Yeah, 16 ounces.
Right. So if you feel a shot with 16-ounce gloves, that's serious.
I'm talking about, I'm like, yo, what year are we in? Who am I? Like, and Jerry, I'm not even being funny. Like, I'm like, yo, nah, dude is and I'm being honest, I say this publicly. I couldn't we were supposed to do 4 rounds. I only went like, I'm going to say 2, but it really was like 1.5. Like, it's amazing. You got to see it to believe it. Like, the physical strength. He's an animal. The punching power, the skills, the cutting the ring off, the grit, for imposing his will. He got the whole package. Like, he's not missing. Everything is on 1,000.
But you when Mike Tyson was coming up, you heard all sorts of stories about sparring partners leaving in the middle of the night. They didn't want to spar with him. You just described to me the very first time you sparred with this guy. What made you come back?
Because Beater Beef is the fighter I always wanted to be. Like, I always picture myself being on top of the throne and throwing bodies down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just throwing bodies down, bloody bodies. Yeah, I'm the baddest man on the planet. Like he always the fighter I wanted to be. So I go up. It's treacherous, but for me, as long as I survive it, you know what I'm saying? I start getting more strategic sparring him. Stay trying to fight him. I'm like, okay, don't try to fight. Just let's work on not getting hit. Let's work on knowing how to tie up. Let's work on surviving the rounds because he puts so much pressure on you, your heart rate is up. So I'm like, if I can get through these rounds, when I get into a fight with somebody, it's going to be nothing. So everything I do is geared towards when I actually fight. Like I try to get as close to the real thing as possible because I haven't fought in so long.
Right.
So I try to get as close to the real thing as possible. So when the real thing comes, it's just another day for me. You understand what I'm saying? So, I just came from camp and it was treacherous, of course, like always.
Now,
but
when
I
you picked
survived.
up from camp, you were in camp with him because he's got a fight with Anthony Yard.
Yeah, I was in
January
camp
28th.
Yeah, I was in camp with him. Yep.
So you were just so when I was contacting you last week, you were in camp with
Beater Beat.
You were in Canada?
Yep.
So have things changed at all with him? Well, I'll say this. I'll let you answer it. But John Scully, who's his assistant trainer in the show that I did, he has said that when Arthur first started, he was just like massacring sparring partners, like I mean blitzing them, and they've had to tell him, like, you want these guys to work with, you're going to run all the work away. And Scully made it seem like he's kind of lessened up a little bit on the guys he works with. But you just were, I mean, is that true? Because you were with him over a decade ago, and you were just with him last week.
Yeah. Honestly, I have to put guys to sleep. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But as he let up, is he as punishing as he was with sparring partners 10 years ago? Is he like that still today?
Oh, absolutely. Because you gotta realize Arthur, right? Even his let up is not a let up because he's so strong, man. He can hit you with something. Like he got the kind of power, right? If I can explain it.
Well, I always tell people, whenever they ask me about his power, I always tell them this. I talk to the sparring partners because I drive them to the gym and take them back. And they all just, the descriptions they give me. One guy, well, I'll tell you what, Lonnie, they call him Lonnie B, Lionell Thompson. He will tell you himself. He said he got hit by a car a few years ago. He said sparring with Arthur was worse than getting hit by a car.
Yeah, he can hit you with a shot. And like I've been hit with good shots. Even like my fight with Kovalev. Kovalev hit me with a good shot. I was hurt after he hit me. But by the time I got back to the corner, I was good. I'm like, okay, cool. I was just inexperienced. He kept hitting me with the same shot.
Right.
But if I was like I was now, I would have stopped Kovalev. I'm like, yo, go at him. Go get up under there because he's not physically strong. Get up under there, hit that body, stay close to him, take the power off his shots. But Beater B got the kind of power where he can hurt you from any distance, short, long, mid-range. And when he hits you, it's like if you go back to the corner, you still like, you can't even think straight. You like, yo, I got to go back out there. What round is it? For real. When you get a day, 2 rounds with him, it's like you need a couple days rest, man.
So his fight is until January 28th. How come you're still not in camp? Was it just for a couple of weeks, or what
it was just. I'm actually small. They want to get some guy bigger, but I'm quick, fast. So they was just using that, and we, you know what I'm saying. So which I understand, yeah, it's a great. He's a very, very nice guy.
I was gonna say, what's he like outside of the ring? Because I've seen him with his family, and he's he's a funny guy, man.
That's what I'm trying to say.
He's a funny guy. He
is hilarious, like the most humble guy you ever meet. Real helpful, real considerate. He's a well put together person. You never would think that he would be so treacherous in the ring.
Right.
Like, because you look at him and say, okay, he's okay, but you never you're like, whoa, like he turned into a chimpanzee on you. You know what I'm saying? But outside the ring, he's a normal guy, well put together guy, respectful, helpful. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to ask you about Buffalo, because Buffalo doesn't have the biggest history in the sport. I remember because I was with HBO, Joe Macy, the heavyweight. Yeah, I went up to Buffalo to do one of his fights, But what was life like for you growing up in Buffalo?
Like my career, treacherous, unfair, traumatizing, all those things, man. It was definitely not a place. If I could do it all over again, I would have rather became in the world another way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I try not to think about those things. You know what I'm saying? Like I really believe that's why I fight so good. Like why I can fight so good under adversity. Because I'm used to hearing, like I told you, right? I said, yo, it's easy to be something when you grow up hearing it your whole life. Like how Floyd say he TV the best ever, but he been hearing that since he was born.
Yeah.
Father, you know what I'm saying? Uncles, come from it. Supportive family. Me, I didn't have none of that. And I'm still one of the most feared fighters in the world today. I always grew up hearing what I couldn't do. Can't do this. You stupid. You ugly. You fat. You this. You that. Blah, blah, blah. People that I thought loved me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I get ready for a fight and I hear, oh, you going to lose, you going to that, I'm like, I'm right at home. I'm like, perfect. This is another opportunity for me to prove that you stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I always try to change whatever somebody negative say into a positive. Like, okay, I'm just going to prove that I'm smarter than you. So, like, I loved all the Uzcategui press. I loved it. I soaked it all in. I'm like, I am going to prove all these people wrong. I cannot wait to see the expression on their face when they say, and the winner from Buffalo, New York. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was definitely treacherous growing up. I really try to go back to my childhood. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I did a lot of just research on you before we talked, and I see this quote that you made in May of 2020, and you said, "I just broke through. I'm about to make some money. I will be super middleweight champion of the world." And then I'm like, I keep saying the same thing. Damn, we're in December of 2022, and you haven't even had a fight. So again, I think it's a testament to you that you're still upbeat and you're still positive, and you haven't just said, you know what, forget it. I quit, because I don't think anyone would blame you if you just quit, because I'll be honest, I thought maybe you quit, because
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. You know how time gets away from you. I remember when you beat Uzcategui. See, I said Benavidez.
Yeah, because
if that
time comes, you'll be saying that when you
right.
Get
So, but and there was just nothing. So this is like the third or fourth time I've said this. I've never had or seen a story quite like yours, that you had this big fight and you won it, and you still can't get a fight. And look, I wish you. I've been a fan of you since I met you, because again, you had that, like, you just had that energy
Yeah,
in the gym. Like, because I saw you working with Chad, and you can tell. Look, I'm an outsider, of course, but I've seen a lot of champions with sparring partners, and you can see which guys are good and which guys aren't. I remember I was with Devin Alexander. This is back when he was at 140. He was a champ at 140.
Yeah.
He had a guy in camp, young fighter who no one knew of, by the name of Adrian Broner. Broner had only had a couple of pro fights. Devin had 2 sparring partners that day. First guy was in the ring, but he dropped him. Broner gets in the ring, and I was like, whoa, this guy's good. Nobody knew who Broner was at the time.
Yeah.
So it was like when I saw you working with Chad, it's like, oh, this guy's good. And I remember talking to you, and you just had good energy, a good spirit. And here it is, 10 years later, and even after everything you've been through, you still have that good energy. You're an easy guy to root for.
Yeah.
Very easy. And I just, man.
It's crazy. When the media see me in the gym, they be like, yo, man, I'm rooting for you. Like, they say the same thing. Yo, man, we hope you, but you got, even Showtime loved me. Showtime loved me. They're like, yo, we want you back on our telecast. Like we want you back. Like, right. And,
so what happened?
And I heard, I could be wrong, but I heard Floyd blocked it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I heard. You know what I'm saying? Like, that he blocked it. Like, and it's just like, so basically, if I don't let you treat me how you want to treat me, you going to try to stop everything that come my way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And which should be not allowed because nobody stopped him from making what how he say he made 1.2 billion. How he say
Something like that.
he made 1 billion.
Yeah.
He talked trash about Bob Arum, but ain't nobody stopped him from going to Showtime and making all that money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking trash about you. I'm just asking you to treat me right. And just for that, you're gonna try to stop me from making a living.
So do you have good people around you now? You have people you trust and people that are trying to get you fights?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the people that I trust. I'm not gonna say it's good people. I don't know, but I'm just trying to get a fight. Like I'm done doing character checks on people. Yeah, we just trying to get a fight in Mexico, anywhere. We just trying to get active, just to get a fight, and then I think it'd be easy to petition me to fight for a world title. I would love to fight the kid John Ryder who fought overseas. It's crazy because a manager just hit me up and said, "Yo, overseas," and said, "Yo, champ, stay working." Yo, man, trying to get you fights, but I'm doing my best, but promoters don't want to risk their fighter against you. That's exactly what he told me just yesterday. And this is a real manager, like a real manager. Like promoters don't want to risk their fighters against you. You know what I'm saying? At 168.
Well, we got a new year coming up.
That's what I'm talking about. New year, new me, new career.
So what are your hopes? Like what are you looking to do? I mean, obviously fight, but in 2023, we got a new year coming up.
Yes.
So what are you looking for in 2023?
2023, I'm looking to resurrect my career and be super middleweight champ by the end of 2023. Super middleweight champ. Hopefully I can get a fight with Canelo, beat Canelo.
Damn, that's a lot for 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen. Listen, if you don't speak the impossible, it never happened. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so here's my thing. Why go small? Like I suffered this long. Why not go big? You know what I'm saying?
Although I think as a fan of yours, I would like to see the small step and just be able to see you in a fight and be able to see you active and doing what you love to do, because you have to love what you do to have been doing it this long and been through everything you've been through. Right.
I love boxing, man, and not get Canelo fight in a year, but year, 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like I feel like I'm like one of those like basketball like you hear about the basketball legends in the ghetto that was just so nice, like
the
just
not kings, like
just running through everything. I feel like I'm one of them. I feel like I'm like the Michael Jordan of the boxing ring. Like when I get in there, I can do anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm like I just know I'm just nice. I'm just nice. I feel like I'm like a Jay-Z. Jay-Z, what, 50 years old, still rapping? Mm-hmm. Like he still do it the best. I feel like that's how I'm gonna be. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I really enjoy. It's funny because sometimes when I fight, I'm like, oh, and I get a check. I be so more worried about my performance, having a flawless performance. When they bring the check, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that is right. I do get paid. Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot, but still, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, to get paid for something that you love to do, something that I practice. I strive for perfection. Perfection. So even when I train today, I'm like, what can I do to get better? What can I do to have the people go, whoa? Like, see, I'm always looking for a new challenge. Uzcategui was a challenge for me because it's like, yo, he's good. I said, now the first challenge is making the weight. The second challenge is having a dominant performance. Dominant. I told myself this fight is gonna gonna look easy for me. I'm gonna make it look easy. Like I'm not gonna struggle. I'm not gonna have a barely winning performance like Caleb did. It ain't gonna be no good fight. It's gonna be a one-sided fight. And I went out there and did that. So I'm always looking. That keeps me alive, man. That keeps me feeling young. Always new challenges. So 2023, man, I just want to get active. I really don't care who I fight. But if it's a big fight, I want to be treated fairly. If it's $1 million on the table, give me $1 million. If it's 400,000 on the table, give me 400. If it's 100, give me 100. Just don't steal something that you didn't earn. That's my whole thing. Just don't. And I think anybody would agree with that. You can't go into a store and take the whole rack of chips and not pay for them.
Well, now you can. I mean, some places there's like now you can do that. You can go into a Walmart and take everything and walk out. But I get your point. I get your point. But so let it be. You've let it be known you're not turning down fights.
No fight.
You're out there to fight anyone.
Anybody at 68. And honestly, I'm not being disrespectful, but I just don't see no 68 that can. Like you got to take every fighter serious. But the stuff I've been through in this sport, I don't see no 68 that can deal with what I'm bringing. Not only am I bringing my skills, I'm bringing all my pain and suffering from my whole life, and I'm taking it out on one person. So I just don't see no 68 that can handle what I'm bringing. I just don't. Not David, not Canelo, not nobody. And listen, they more than welcome to prove me wrong. More than welcome to prove me wrong. I'm up for the challenge.
Well, look again. You threw out a lot of big names, but man, I hope you just get a fight because it's got to start somewhere. It's like you're 0-0. It's like it almost feels like your pro debut. People, I want to see you fight again.
Stay tuned. It's gonna happen.
All right. Well,
it's gonna happen. Stay tuned. We stay tuned. It's gonna happen.
So let's not do this December 6th of 2025, and it's been 6 years since you've had a fight. And let's
Oh no, that's case. That's 6 years. That's God telling me time to hang it up.
All right, Lonnie B. So I appreciate your time, and like I said, I've been rooting for you for the past 10 years. So
I so appreciate that, man.
I'm looking. I just want to see you in the ring.
Yeah, I'm writing a book called "Dare to Be Different, Dream to Be Great." So look out for that. That's coming out too.
But when's it coming out? Is it coming out in like 10 years, 20 years?
Nah. No, about another 2 years. About another 2 years. The publisher, we gotta get everything right. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we don't get sued or nothing.
Honestly, at some point, I would love to do this again, and I would love to really talk more about you growing up and the things you've went through that have shaped the person you are. Because again, you've been through a lot of negative stuff in your life.
Yeah.
But you're still here and you're still positive.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for you.
Thank you, man, George. I appreciate that, King.
All right, my friend. I will talk to you soon.
All right, I'm about to get to this gym and go train.
Train for that upcoming fight.
Yes, sir.
All right, my friend. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Anytime.